So today's speaker is Ben Ayling. He presented for us, I think, 2 years ago and had good reviews. He's back again this year. He's a retired choral director and award-winning photographer and owner of Ben Ayling Photography, a photography business and website where he sells nature and fine art images. As co-owner of Nature Photo Workshops, he teaches and conducts workshops on photography in various settings, including the biggest birding week in American birding and the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. He has traveled extensively to many countries, including Canada, Mexico, Ireland, Russia, and Australia, and in the US at the Great Smoky Mountains, Arches, Capitol Reef, Zion, and more. Earlier this month, he returned from a birding trip in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. But this week, he's going to talk about his trip to South Africa through the photographer's lens, from Johannesburg to Cape Town to the safaris. Okay, Ben.
Thank you. How you doing? Too loud? Too loud? Okay, so we'll bring it down to, yeah, that is a little loud. It is. Well, I'll tell you what, while they're fixing that, I'm a choral director, so you're going to have to sing. So, if you're able, stand every time you start singing a word that starts with a B, and if you're standing, sit if you sing a word that starts with a B, and if you're not able, just go up and down with your hands. My body lies over the ocean. My body lies over the ocean. My body lies over the sea. Get your hands moving. My body lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my body to me. Keep going. Bring back, oh, bring back my body to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my body to me. How many of you had your hands up at the end? You were wrong. Okay, enough of that song. So here we go. South Africa through the photographer's lens. Through the photographer's lens because I am a photographer. I love photography. I retired in 16 and spring of 17 I bought my first camera. Took a trip to the Canadian Rockies on a train trip and just fell in love with the craft. So I retired, as all people ought to something, and for me it was photography. I want to introduce a friend of mine who's here. Donna Kotchak. Where are you, Donna? There she is. Donna talked to me about a trip that she was looking to take to South Africa, and we did that, it was a year ago this past November, and it's the second of the 2 trips that I'm going to talk about today. So we're ready to look at a trip that was first in 2018, the second one was in 2024. The first one was much more about sightseeing and that. My wife went along, there was shopping, bathrooms that were a step above a hole in the ground with a cedar work, you know, with the dirt next to it for like kitty litter. There are those kinds of trips. And the second one was just a photography centric. It was all about photography. So I'm going to go over both these. I'm even going to talk about prices a little bit so you have an idea about how diverse these kinds of trips can be. But trip 1 was March 13th to 26th and 18. It was 13 days and 1 day to get to New York City because included, and it was all transportation, including round-trip airfare from New York City. It was a really great deal. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. There were only 3 safari drives and a bushwalk. But we were offered an extra night drive for $25, which I grabbed up in a hurry, and all overnight accommodations and 18 meals. It was a very, very lovely trip. So day 0, we got to New York. Day 1, international flight to Cape Town by way of Johannesburg. And in day 2, we arrived in Cape Town, transferred to a centrally located hotel for some leisure time to get rid of that jet lag. So the 3rd day, we actually started looking around a little bit. The morning panoramic city of Cape Town, Table Mountain, which is one of the world's 7 wonders of nature, they say. The Malay Quarter, also called Bokak. It's lined with colorful houses, lots of decorative mosques, and we'll see some of this in a minute. It's an historic neighborhood founded by former slaves from Malaysia. The Kirsten Bosch Botanic botanical gardens, the Cape Town waterfront, and an afternoon shop. My wife loved that part. Yeah. So here we are. This is Table Mountain, and we're at the bottom of the cable car or gondola that takes you up to the top, and you can see at the very pointy point where that actually ends up going. So on the way up, I got a picture of this guy scaling the cliff face right here. Okay, and once on top, it's a beautiful sight. We had such a beautiful day because it was just so clear. You can see these people over here waving at us from across, and it was just gorgeous. I don't know what else to say other than look for yourself. You can see forever. And down below, that's Cape Town, as is that. Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela was incarcerated for much of his incarceration. Our guide and my wife, she's the happy one right there. And another look down. As we're getting ready to go down the cable, boy, it's a long way up there. Which is that indeed. Okay, so then we went to Malay Quarter. Beautiful buildings, colorful housing, just a lovely spot, and just kind of quiet, really. There's not a whole lot there to see other than the buildings. Of course, you can look back up at Table Mountain where we were just a little while ago. Aren't those beautiful? Just gorgeous little places and small, quiet streets. My wife's the cute one, they're closest. Then we went to the Castle of Good Hope. Now, the Castle of Good Hope was, the site was found in 1665, was chosen to build an imposing fortress, which included warehouses, residences, shops, slave quarters, and of course, a church hall to go with the slave quarters. I always scratch my head over that one. But, they were all inside the outer walls, complete with ramparts. So the first stage of the construction was completed in 1679. Just a few views of this. They always bring in each day the keys to the place, bring the keys in, take them out later on in the day. So these are the castle guards. Colorful guys. I always wonder about, let me get the right button here. Yeah, this guy here, he looks like he's not well fed. This guy, however, he looks like he's in good shape. Okay, and some native costuming and stature. Then we went to the Kirstenbach Botanical Gardens. Beautiful setting. It was, let's see, this was March, as I recall. So it was their fall. Yeah, it's the opposite of what we have. They're on the other side of the equator. But just a few shots of some of the flora that was there. I like that one. And there's that cute girl again going on that walkway. Okay, so day 4 then, we went a full day excursion to Cape Point by way of Cape Town. There was a morning cruise along Hawke Bay, Duiker Island, which is a seal island covered with seals, as you'll see in a minute. And we drove through the nature reserve that covers the southern part of the peninsula, Cape of Good Hope, Cape Point, and Chauma baboons, which we'll see some of the mischievous things that they get into. Boulders Beach with African jackass penguins, and later in the afternoon back to the hotel with a dinner and a show. So this is, we're on the boat getting ready to take off, and I look over and here's this seal with his head on a big container of isopropyl alcohol, flammable liquid. And I took this picture because from a conservancy standpoint of nature, this really tugged at my heartstrings. I mean, you got a fisherman's line that's cutting into his chest. It's just, so much about this was so wrong. And I've entered this into a number of conservancy contests trying to make a point that we need to do better, don't you think? Yes. All right, so on the way out there was a big pod of dolphins just frolicking in the distance. This was actually quite a distance away, but it was kind of fun to see them as well. So we get to the Seal Island, and they're just diving in, and they're all over the island and pretty much all over each other, having a great time, as it were, and just not a care in the world. A lot of them with their noses in the air, like that one on the left. It's a little attitude, we got back from there, again, back to the dock, they were just everywhere, just sunning themselves and just having a great time. So we got back on the road, we stopped because there was this neat little vista where things looked so beautiful, and the seashore and the cove there was really nice too. Honey, oh great. So after we finally get to where we have these jackass penguins, and they call them jackass penguins apparently because of the way they cluck and make noises and all. It reminded somebody who named them of jackasses. Maybe their boss, I don't know. But you'll notice that this guy here and this guy here they're molting their childish feathers, and all that's kind of working for them a little bit. Another thing to realize that, let me ask you this: what do you call a group of penguins? Anybody have any ideas? What? No, anybody? Here's a few. They're also known by what they're doing very much of the time: a rookery, a formality, an icing, a march of penguins, a parade, a parcel, pride. You'd think that'd be for the lions, but it's also for them. A shiver, a town. I like this one. A tobogganing of penguins. A colony, huddle, and if they're swimming, a raft. And of course, the one I think I like the best is a tuxedo. Okay, but there they are. They're just so happy. Touchdown. These are all mamas lying on their nests. Of course, this one's just a little overfed fur baby that hasn't lost any of his original feathers yet at all. So that's always fun to see. They got that pink on their feet and pink on their faces. Mama's checking out the brood to make sure everybody's doing okay. And of course, you always come across a lot of people singing, dancing, performing, always with the requisite tip bowl. But these girls, these kids, are all dressed up so beautifully. And the thing about South Africa is that there is incredible wealth in a few places. And there's even more incredible poverty almost everywhere. It's staggering, really. I'm going to show you some of that diversity. But these kids are really dressed up great for us. Face painting, the whole 9 yards. Back along the shore, just a lot of animals, more jackass penguins, but just life teeming just about everywhere, including ostrich. Ostrich. We thought, well, are we going to see any ostriches? Oh yeah, we saw quite a few. You see that guy poking his head up in the bottom there, in the middle? Okay. And they were all along the shore there. Well, of course, where there are rocks, there are people who have to climb them. Why? Because they're there, of course. So we made it to the Cape of Good Hope, as it says here, the most southwestern point in the African continent. It's where the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean meet. And from above, you can literally see where the two waters come together. They're slightly different colors because they're slightly different temperatures. Okay. So I circled that up here. I circled that there because there's the lighthouse that keeps people from running into those rocks. Could you imagine? And I think there's a cable car that takes you down to that, but we just didn't take the time. Now, baboons, there's signs everywhere there at the Cape that says baboons are naughty. And they are. The Chakma baboon, the troops in the Cape Peninsula are afforded special protection, so they are protected indeed. It says here at the bottom, do keep a safe distance. Do move away slowly if a baboon approaches you. Do not display food when they're visible. Do not open the windows or doors of your car when baboons are present. Boy, do the baboons know that one. Okay, do not feed baboons or you will be fined. People ignore good common sense. This lady literally sat down, saw these two baboons and went over to them and sat down next to them. So you look and he's grabbing her arm right there because he wants something from her. I wonder what that could be. Well, maybe her top. They are very, very naughty, as you will see. They like to grab things and make them their own. They're very social. You know, these three here, you know, that used to be somebody's water bottle, now it's his. That used to be somebody's sweater. And now it belongs to him, and he's very happy about it. He really is. Now, if you look, this one's just sitting on top of a car. Why? Because somebody's going to come wanting to get into it, and he's going to want to try to get in there and get something for himself. This lady right here has her hands on her hips because there's one right up there, and he's just waiting. He's not going to move, and she wants to get in her car. There's yet another one back here that's doing the same thing. So they learn, and they're naughty. Never trust a cone, because you don't know who put it there. So that night we went and had dinner, and they, you know, some obligatory face painting and a lovely menu of all things from the area. There was a show. I was enjoying the show so much I really didn't get a lot of pictures of that. I just got these two guys primarily, but it was a lot of fun, and boy, I'll tell you, we were getting a lot of value for our dollar. The next day, day 5, was Cape Town. It was a tour of Lunga, one of the country's oldest townships, and it was a Sunday, so we visited Lunga Methodist Church. Licha Township, largest of the Western Cape Island tour. Nelson Mandela was imprisoned there for 18 of his 27 years. So here's a few shots of that. First of all, we had this young man who makes these drawings and then puts glass to them, and I don't know if you can see it now, but it looks something like this. And we had that shipped to us, and if you're interested in something like that, by the way, he signed the back of it and put all the information. You could have it shipped or something like that, but really does marvelous work. He and the other artisans that are in this community do this sort of thing to try to get themselves, their families, and other friends out of this impoverished situation that they're in. Yeah, some beautiful work. Apologies for that not being very in focus, but you get the idea. A little bit of shopping. And then it was a Sunday, so we went to the Methodist Church. If you take a look, all these people are in their finery, and you're seeing, so far you're seeing people dressed to the nines pretty much, but this is Sunday, they're proud, they come there with purpose, and they sing. I took my phone out and just recorded this while they were singing. We sat there for about 15 minutes, just never stopped. Outside the church and in that area, there are these stanchions. You'll notice here it says the main barracks consisted of 84 dormitories, each with 24 concrete bunks. Lunga was built to accommodate the migrant laborer population. So here we have a pictorial representation of those bunks. And how many people was that? 24 concrete bunks times 84.
Yeah.
That's a lot of workers. And in very close quarters, and not very nice in that way. A number of memorials for kids that were killed. Here it says, school children gathered and marched in a peaceful demonstration against the education system. So Leo Mosi was shot and killed. And you find things like this is another one, yet another one, and you just find them far, far too often. The housing is just extremely close quartered. You're looking at a multi-family housing situation. Each of those numbers, multi-families. not very big, not very big at all. That's our group walking along. It felt so ostentatious just by the way we were dressed, to be honest. This is some really posh housing, by the way. This is upscale. This lady sat there with her little tip jar. Didn't really say much of anything, but we were welcomed for the possibility of getting some tips to come in to see where they lived. And I wish I would have taken more pictures, but it's a space. It's probably the length of the housing is the width of this room, and probably from my hand here to the screen wide. Hallway down the middle, rooms on either side, 3 to 5 families in each room. And we're talking about rooms that are at best a medium-sized bedroom in our homes here. And they just work it out. So this is a scene of some of the townships. They now that apartheid is over, they no longer use the old tires to put around people's necks and kill them by burning. They hold up their houses with them. They hold down the tarps to keep the water off of them. You'll notice that there's all these electrical transformers, just dozens of lines that come off there. They crawl up there and they tap into them and to bring electricity to where they live. And they're living in corrugated and almost like cardboard structures, but they get them covered with tarps so that when the rain comes, it can go off. The outside of the townships, all the way around the townships is where the water sources are, because they have to carry water in. There is no running water. There also is no sewage. So what they do is the whole outside of the townships are encircled by porta potties. You gotta go. You go to the outside of the township area, make your deposit, and make your way back home. You probably bring back some water where you're going, because you can get there on its own. But this is how the mass majority live. Here you got a restaurant, a hair salon, and a welding works and exhaust shop. And that's uptown. That's what you got. All right, then we moved on to the Political Prisoner Detainees Center, so we could do a tour of Robben Island. We got out there and there was the entrance to it, and welcome to us. How many of you know who Nelson Mandela was? Okay, good. In case you didn't, Nelson Mandela was one of the leaders of the revolt of the people of South Africa against apartheid. Apartheid was very much about white people win and black people don't count. And it was horrible. There were a lot of atrocities that were going on. This quarry is where Nelson Mandela labored for, I think it was 17 years. Hard labor, pickaxe and a big hammer, and you just broke up rocks. This is where they would go to get out of the sun for breaks, to urinate, and to plan. This is where they talked a lot about what are we going to do to get this turned around. These are prisoners. And even in his incarceration, it made such an incredible difference that once he was released and apartheid had ceased, he was released as well as all the other political prisoners there, and he became the president and Nobel Peace Prize winner. Not holder, but winner. I'm sorry, that was political. Okay, this was Nelson Mandela's cell. I mean, it is as small as it looks. We're talking about 5 feet from those bars to the wall on the other side. Very small bunk to sleep on, and amazing. About maybe 7 feet long and 5 feet wide at best. So you had to go and come. It was an island. You had to go and come by boat. But here are some of the prisoners when they were able to be coming back. It said, "We want Robben Island to reflect the triumph of freedom and human dignity over oppression and humiliation." This was a former prisoner, And here's an African freedom song for you. This is the Bowman Green State University Collegiate Chorale. On the way back, going back toward Cape Town, you can see Table Mountain up there, with shrouded in what they call the tablecloth. And the tablecloth is there almost every day in various forms, depending upon the time of day and what's going on. We've got a number of pictures of it. So day 6. It was a travel day. Boy, was it a travel day. This is the one thing about this particular tour that I would do differently. We flew from Cape Town to Johannesburg. A motor coach met us. When I say motor coach, I think we had 15 people. And it was a motor coach that probably held 20. There was plenty of room. But it was a smaller coach. And then we traveled for about 6 hours. Yeah, it was long. I would have much rather paid some extra bucks and flew up there on a small puddle jumper rather than be stuck, because we really didn't see a whole lot on the way up there. But you know, the whole idea was to get to Kruger, and so we got there to check and relax. So on the way, you notice what it says on top, "A view from the loo." Literally, this is a rest area. This is a rest area. I'm taking this picture. Well, I'm standing in front of a urinal, and this window is from here up, so you can enjoy the animals. We were excited because it was the first wild animals we got to see on the trip, but it was more like a zoo situation. You were just in a big open corral area, but there were a lot of neat animals. We got to see them, not really in their natural habitat, but safe, far from poachers, you know, a watering hole, and you know, you got to see some animals, so we're excited about that. We got up to where we were going to be then, and the next day, early morning, we had a safari into Kruger, breakfast upon return, and then a Bama dinner. A Bama dinner, by the way, is when everything's cooked over open fire, and it's at night, not everything, but like the meats are cooked over open fire usually, and you're outside. And I know that Donna and I, when we were there a year ago, this past November, it was the time when we had to have these little doilies over our drinks because there were so many bugs. they dropped down. They would drop down. You had to watch what you're eating. But sometimes you go to, oh, wait a minute, you don't belong there. You know, dropping down from the trees a little bit and into your drinking water, unless you kept those little doilies over, which were very, 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 very helpful. Yeah, it could be worse. So this is the first animal I saw in its natural habitat. He's 150 yards away. First light, very little light. I had my best lens to give me as much light as I could, and that's handheld at 150 yards. So I was very, very happy that I got any kind of a shot at all. But this guy was just kind of hanging out. Really, I got so excited. All right. Did I go backwards? I did. Okay, here we go. So we got some impala here. Anybody know what this is called? Not a kudu. No. Donna?
I was going to say kudu, so.
Well, if you notice, there's a lot of fur here. It's a nyala, Nyala, which you don't see as often. You see a lot of kudu, but nyala are a little harder to find. There's a kudu. across it. Of course, zebra, unless you're in the bluey, and it's called a zebra. All your grandparents know that. You know their stripes are like fingerprints, no two are alike? Yeah. True story. Now the rhinoceros, here's one that's obviously not been poached. Look at that long horn. Yeah, and this was in Kruger, and they watch after them carefully because there's a lot of people who want to get that horn and grind it down for Asian remedies or whatever. But they're worth a lot of money. Unfortunately, some people don't think that, like we do, that the animals are worth more than doing that. But beautiful, very nearsighted. They spend their whole life looking at grass about that far away, you know. And so when they look up, they don't focus very well. This is a European roller. Isn't that pretty bird? This elephant was walking right toward us, and I didn't think he was going to stop. And all of a sudden, up he went into that tree and get some tasty things. Crocodile. He was big. I'm telling you. I would not want to be a wildebeest trying to ford a river with a bunch of those in it. Just wouldn't be good. Warthogs. Saw lots of warthogs. Saw way more impalas in the back. They were just literally everywhere. We've got yellow-billed hornbill here. And of course my wife's favorite animal, the giraffe. So we were going down into a dry riverbed. We were crossing it. We were coming up on the other side when our driver, or the tracker, we have a tracker who's sitting in the front in a jump seat that pulls down in front of the grill. And he sits out there looking down for tracks. And the driver is on the European right side, driving. And the tractor said, hold it. And he said, I see some bunch of elephants off the left. Everybody be very quiet. They turned off the engine. So we're up here like this. And they thought, we might get close to these elephants. So they turned the engine off, put it in neutral, and we just kind of slid back down in the middle of this dry riverbed. So up comes this bunch of elephants, and this little guy was the smallest in the bunch, and the matriarch comes down and she starts digging into this dry sand. And the sand goes from light brown to a darker brown to a darker brown, and pretty soon it's almost like mud. She digs a hole, and the whole group drinks. But this guy is a little guy. He had to go last. You'll notice that he's on his knees. Can you see that? He had to get on his knees because his trunk just wouldn't reach far enough to get down to the water. It's just cute as all get out. Very happy guy. And of course, the king of the jungle. So we got back. Hello. Something happened. Hello. Hello. I'm getting a red light rather than a green light. So while he's trading me out here, this is after we got back. A little quick picture of the group. Oh, here we go. We're rocking and rolling.
Loud enough?
Yeah. Okay. So we were there, and then of course we had dinner afterwards. But check out this view while we were having dinner. Yeah, we got hippopotamus. We've got elephants. It was just pretty cool. Yeah, and can you hear me okay? There's a lot of, okay. You'll see that the walkways were elevated and had railings on them. I didn't see I saw like 2 monkeys, but they said, we have baboons here, they're very naughty, as we learned. You know, make sure you don't just close the door to your room, but lock it. Otherwise, you're going to come back and find your door open and things missing. Because they know how to get in if it's not locked. Isn't that gorgeous setting? The Obama situation. Okay, so day 8, after breakfast, we drive through the heart of the Limpopo province. Went to a elephant sanctuary, a number of places, including the Black River Canyon. a lot of mountain views, the 3 winding bells, God's Window. I'll show you some pictures of all this here in a second. Then the Shaduli Lodge and the Kawangwa Private Game Reserve, an afternoon game reserve, and then of course dinner. So we got to this elephant sanctuary. I don't know if you know this, but elephants have memories that can be very harmful to themselves. They become very attached to their handlers. And because of that, in this sanctuary, you aren't with the same handler as an elephant twice in a row. They just keep rotating them all the time, so they get used to having handlers, but not a specific handler. Why? The handler gets upset and leaves, or heaven forbid, gets sick and is no longer able to work or whatever, and they stop coming. The elephant mourns to the point of possibly dying itself. So they have to protect these animals from their own emotions, really. But these elephants, this was such a cool thing. Marianne there is feeding some peanuts to this elephant. And what they did is they had the elephant lie down on its side. This guy here, he's sitting on a bucket full of peanuts, and it would reach its trunk out and put a couple peanuts down there, and it would roll up into its mouth, and it would bring it back in, just back and forth and back and forth. Meanwhile, we're able to go around and feel its skin, feel the roughness of the hair on the tail, just get more and more of an idea of what it's like to be close, really, I mean, up front and close to an elephant. Pictures with, including myself, a lot of fun, just some memorable things. So we got back on the road, we got, Lily here, some things along the way, a drive with a view, if you will. This is, I think, God's Window, some street shopping along the way, Works Luck Potholes in the Blythe River Canyon Nature Reserve. Never thought of South Africa as having this kind of topography, but it's beautiful. All these potholes and just water features all over. The 3 rondavels, they're like little beehive. There's 3 of them there. I think it's there, and there. But the angle we're at, a little hard to see other than that one, which is very obvious. God's Window. And then we arrive at our hotel. This is the Shaduli Lodge. As soon as we got there, I saw a velvet monkey right away. And mongoose love to dig in, live in, and crawl around termite mounds. Termite mounds, by the way, can span 50, 60, 80 yards in every direction. They're all underground and some above ground, but they're very, very large structures, and the mongoose just love them. Again, here's a male Nyala from straightforward head. And you notice all the hair here looks different than a kudu. Some of our group, and our group consisted of 2 vehicles, got us all covered, which was nice. So as a photographer, I had one whole side to myself, even though there were 3 seats in each one. I didn't have to deal with being in the middle or working around. So a wildebeest here. Next was my wife's favorite time. She said this was like Jurassic Park. So it was early in the morning, we came around the corner, and there they were. There were about 10 or 11 of them all together. And just, we were so close. And did you realize that giraffes have the highest blood pressure of any animal on Earth? Well, think about that. That blood's got a long way to go. It is. And at birth, the biggest thing that can happen wrong is they break their necks from the drop of birth, because they can't bend those knees. They just have to do that as best they can. But yeah, that's unfortunate. On all the drives, morning drives, we'd stop and have coffee and rusks. In the evening, we'd stop and have little pieces of beef jerky or some sort of dried meats and some things like that, but they all would always have your favorite soft or hard drink, depending upon what you were in the mood for. So all that was available. Yes, those stops were also the bathroom breaks behind the nearest tree or bush. I know on the second trip that we took, I had to say, I can't stop. So we just stopped in the middle of the road. There's nobody out there, so I just went back behind and I said, you ladies, talk amongst yourselves. Don't listen. I'm getting performance anxiety. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. I'd go back to Africa tomorrow if I could get away. How about day after tomorrow? Day 9, early morning coffee followed by safari drive. We stopped in the bush for hot drinks and rusts, as I said. Return to the lodge for a full breakfast, relax, downtime, nap, lunch, whatever you want. Lay up and set out on foot for a bush walk, a bush drive, or walk in this case, and dinner. This particular time, I think, is when they offered a $25 a night ride. I'm in. This is a lilac-breasted roller. It is the national bird of Kenya. I doctored this up a little bit. That's the national bird of Kenya, photographed in South Africa with the Philly, Ohio sky in the background. A warthog, a peahen, a white rhinoceros, and elephants. Now these hippos, a mom and baby, they were so fun to watch. Isn't that fun? So at one point we were invited to leave our vehicle for us. We were just told to stretch our legs. We got out of the vehicle and I no sooner hit the ground than they said, back in the vehicle, quickly as you can. There's a water buffalo in the area and they're very aggressive. My leg was just coming up back in when this water buffalo charged right past me. But it was okay. They watch out. They know what's going on, these guys. So we went to a different area and we got out and the driver said, I am the captain. What I say goes. Do what I say without question, walk where I walk, stay together, watch your step. And we started to walk and suddenly there was a cheetah. Then there were 2. And there were 3. And we walked with these 3 cheetah for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It was magical. It was so fun. I got lots and lots of shots and they may be my favorite animal. It's hard to just majestic. They're the fastest animal on the planet. I don't know. I was just drawn to it. I had to take a picture of the eye. These are Egyptian geese. Okay. Now I got animals eating animals warning here. If you don't want to see animals eating animals, don't look for the next 2 slides. Okay. All right. So this is Mama. Cleaning up afterwards, we found out that there was going to kill. It was a baby giraffe. The circle of life is, you've got these babies, and they are easy prey, and animals got to eat. So they were kind of gathering around, and here's some. Don't look if you don't want to see this. Last one. These 4 cubs were just feasting on the kill, and except for the one in the middle. You notice what he's looking at. Me. Made me a little nervous. Okay, the gore's over. You can look at. Okay, this is the night drive. This was the payoff from the night drive. Found out that there was a male lion right near the road. And I remember they said they communicate back and forth, the drivers via radio, walkie-talkie, and they said, well, okay, there's this male lion, but it's a rough road, we got to go fast, are you up for it? And we said yes. So I'm changing lenses, trying not to lose my lens along the way. I got there and I had the right lens by the time I got there, and I just loved the shot. Especially those eyes. Okay, so day 10, we journey back to Johannesburg. Now that's that 6-hour commute. We go all the way back to Johannesburg and check into the Santon Hotel for some leisure time. This hotel was incredible. I've stayed in New York Plaza. I've stayed at some pretty wonderful hotels. This made them all look like a shack, like a garrison. But it was just absolutely beautiful. Okay, and what bothered me about that too is there was a Santon mall that was attached to it. It was a millionaire's store. There were all these stores that just, I mean, who could afford, they couldn't afford to buy anything there. And you would go just a few miles away from where we were, and these people were in these shacks with tires holding down the roofs and such. So day 11, we basically, we went around in the southwestern township of Soweto. Soweto, you probably heard of, southwestern township. And we learned a lot about Nelson Mandela and at the Lillesley farm, where he lived sort of in exile and under an alias so that he wouldn't be found. Lillesley, Sir Bob Heppel, in an interview, said it was the headquarters of the whole underground movement. No, I'll take this back. Sir Bob Heppel, he did the interview, but this is Nelson Mandela. It was the headquarters of the whole underground movement, a place where meetings were held. It was a main venue for discussions, a place of refuge, and where the whole leadership could meet. Tata means father in Afrikaans, and they referred to Nelson Mandela as Tata. Children especially, and there were all these notes to him after his death. Tribute to Nelson Mandela. This is room 12 where he stayed while there, and while he was there, he dressed in fatigues. He looked like a custodian. He had a different name. Oh boy, I gotta hurry. And this right here is, oh, hello, sorry. I got excited. This right here is where they found all of his writings. He had told them, get rid of them, burn them. They didn't want to, the leadership, they left them. There was a raid, they found them buried underneath, and that's how he ended up being incarcerated and sent to Robben Island because they didn't follow his instructions. That's his old home, rocks, resting in peace to Nelson Mandela, and I have no idea what just happened. Okay, here we go. Poverty. I'm sorry, I timed this all out, but I'm going a little long. Sorry. So this is his early home tour. This is, I'm just going to go past all this. He was a great guy. The house itself is identical to hundreds of others built on a postage stamp sized plots on dirt roads. Nelson Mandela. That was his bedroom. That's where he lived, in his early house before he was incarcerated. And nearby, there were people that were performing. And for whatever reason, it's not going to work. But we'll move on from there. Right next to that is Desmond Tutu's house. I saw this and didn't realize we were so close, so I took a picture of his garden over the fence. Okay. And day 12 and 13, we arrived back at home, and Friendly Planet is the company that we worked with. The cost in 2018 was $3,174 a person, including the airfare from New York City. Today, so it was 6,348 for the two of us. Today it's 5,099 or 10,198 for double occupancy. But still, not a bad deal, and that company is available. Okay, trip 2, boy, am I behind. It was designed for 5 photographers. We went to a number of places. It included all meals, local beer and wines, 20 bush drives, 2 per day, up to 10 bush drives, a bush walk a day upon request. I didn't do that, I was so beat. This is Mountains Bush Camp. This is where we stayed for the first bit, and I'm going to kind of whip through these a bit, but it's some pretty nice facilities. All the rooms had outdoor showers, along with an indoor shower. So yeah, that was my bedroom. Actually.
Really roughing it, like you told your wife.
I asked my wife if she wanted to go, and she said, well, what are the bathrooms going to be like? And I said, well, it could be, Donna and I talked, it could be as bad as just a hole in the ground with a single. Or it could be this, and it ended up being this. We got a pool. And of course, outside to the right of there, there's a big watering hole where all the animals would come to drink. And the Obama situation. Okay, so animal sightings there. We had 6 leopards with 17 sightings. We had all the big 5, lion, leopard, Cape buffalo, rhinoceros, and elephant. Several lion prides and sightings, and along with many other species. There's a greater blue-eared starling. They're everywhere. They're like a wren. Newborn impala just sitting right next to the road, right out in the open. I thought, where's Mama? Well, it really blended in. A lot of the nighttime shoots, so they're holding a single torch or lamp. That's a black and white version of that colored version. Okay, love the eyes. They would come so close. They were as close as right at my feet over the side. And if I wanted to, I could have reached down and practically slap them on top of the head. I, of course, would not do that. Baby rhinoceros, cute as all get out. I just want to go out and pick them up, except I don't think I could lift that much weight. Leopard yawn and tawny eagle. Aren't those eyes amazing? Animal eating animals warning. One slide. Don't look if you don't want to see this. Here we go. Oh, I went the wrong way. Okay, so yeah, she jumped into this pile of brush and came out. That's pretty clean. You've seen much worse things than this, but she's taking that up to a tree for later. And I did it again. Okay, I don't know why what did I do wrong? Okay, I sure hope she doesn't see me down here. You see me down there? There's a leopard right up there. You just never know. This is halfway jumping up. We got this leopard climbing the tree and then jumping from one part of it to another. Beautiful animals, just incredible. Zebras, another, I think that's my favorite bird. Just nipping off that. Okay, which of the following 3 shots here do you like best? There's that one. That's the original one. Then that one, which is closer. We stopped, and this is the only shot I had. I had a little keyhole to look through to see him. And then this one. Our contest through the Photo Arts Club of Toledo and with the parks was just opened up this morning.
Yes.
And I got an honorable mention on this one right here. All right, more impala. This one, the baby just dropped. We just missed seeing the birth. So she's cleaning him up just right after birth. And this one's looking for lunch. This one's chasing lunch. All right, animals eating animals. This is a water buffalo and a lion pride. Okay, so that's over. You can look again. So after they ate, they're all heading to the water hole. And what I love, these two here, check it out. Every paw, even the angle of the ear are exactly, I want to be like Mama. Isn't that great? Yeah, exactly the same. They get the watering hole and drink. Love the reflection. These are 2 sisters that are, look at their tummies. They are so engorged with water buffalo. And of course, Dad looks over all of them. Look at those eyes. We're just getting ready to stop for our evening cocktail out there in the bush, and I said, "Oh, stop in 3, 2, right there, stop!" And I stood up and took that shot. Malamala Camp, beautiful setting. The river goes right next to it. Okay, so here you've got bathroom. My bedroom looks just like that. 30 feet up in the ceiling, and then outdoor shower, and all. Outdoor showers are pretty cool, especially when you're showering, you're looking over at the watering hole and the animals are coming up. It's just pretty amazing. And that's what we would look out at with the animals, and this is overlooking the watering hole. Okay, again, all the big 5 at Malamala, 9 leopards, 10 sightings, a baby bear and a mother with a cub, and several other things. Here's elephants, like elephants, you can see the facility in the background there. Okay, now see that little baby guy? He is being protected. See him there? Watch this. He is right by Mama. And this was a big paddock where there were probably 40 elephants. And the little ones were always in the middle of the group. Looking out for them, watching out for them. Check out the eyes. They're 2 different colors. The people there that take you out, they hadn't noticed that before. We brought that to their attention. I think Donna noticed it. All right, leopards and the look of love. This is what it looks like. Okay, PG-13. This is the actual act. Okay. Come on. They make about 50 times a day over a 2-day period. But she wants it. I mean, she's not to be denied.
It's going to travel on the
That was it. Okay. So we hear this noise over our left shoulder, and we look over, and this is what we see. These 2 male lions are traveling together. One of them is looking off to the right at what we were seeing, and the other one's looking at us. Yeah. But and they're very territorial, and they're probably wanting to get those leopards out of there. Black and white version, just because I thought that was cool. But yeah, these are incredible animals. I love pictures of giraffes sitting down. I just think that, and of course, all kitties like to sun themselves. Broadbill roller. This is a panoramic of the river that's just outside of Malamala. And this is an eagle. I can't remember which kind. Got somewhere. Wild dogs. We won't talk about them. We won't talk about them. No, I'm going backwards. Okay, this is a cub. So it's weird to be able to see that. We were just so excited to do that. And this is a klipspringer, which is Dutch for rock leaper. Yeah. So this one, Wild Eye, is the company that we went through. The cost, now I was a single, so I didn't get the 2 for price. So yeah, most expensive vacation I ever had. $10,118 plus the international flight. Yeah, it was a little dear, but I'll tell you, I loved it. Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Okay, so shameless promotion here, we'll get you out of here. Nature Photo Workshop coders, myself and my friend Tom, we put on photo workshops for people that want to learn how to photograph from the neophyte. I've got an iPhone to someone that's got an ISO or mirrorless camera. We have our own website, which is here. I have cards up here in case you're interested. We have a spring workshop in the Smokies. We have a fall workshop. We have an add-on to do the elk rut and also the Cypress Lake exploration, where we have a Cypress Lake down 75 miles from Savannah, Georgia, that we lead to. Okay, I have cards up here. Any questions? Yes.
I just want to know something.
Ma'am.
If you're interested in his photography, Seagull Park, right now, every Saturday, they have 50, I think, winners of the photo contest that just went on from 250 entries.
Yeah, all of them are on display.
All
All.
250.
All.
Okay, that's at Seacourt every Saturday to the end of March.
Is it Saturday and Sunday? I think it's Saturday and Sunday, noon to 4.
Oh, is it Sunday? You know, because I just posted it on double check.
Yeah,
Okay,
noon
I
to
may
4.
be wrong.
Any other questions? Yes.
What about snakes?
Oh, one of our group found a snake inside her room. She opened up the sliding door to go out and look at the watering hole and didn't close it behind her, and the snake got in while she did her back turn. Otherwise, I never saw a snake. Oh, well, that's not true. The first one, when we arrived in Seduli, there was they said, oh, there's a monkey being eaten by a boa. I did see it from the shots I had on my iPhone. Yes, sir.
When they were imprisoned and they were chopping the rocks,
Yes.
what'd they do with the rocks?
I can only assume they sold them and used them as quarry rocks. You know,
To build something, or?
I'm sure they did, because there's a lot of rock structures there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, how many countries are there in Africa?
How many countries are there in Africa? Anybody have an answer to that one? Because I don't.
50.
30, I think.
45 what?
25 to 30.
25 to 30. The answer is no question. Good for you. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Cape Town, is it always windy?
Cape Town, at least when we were there, it was windy in the upper elevation up by Table Rock, but down below not so much. No, yes.
When you did that tram to Table Rock, how long did it take you to get there?
The tram up to Cable Rock, maybe 8-10 minutes. Not right.
It rotates while you're in it.
That's right, it does.
I just got back.
Your favorite camera is what, a Nikon, Sony,
I'm a Canon guy. Only because it's what I got used to. Any other questions? Because I know we're running late. Yes, sir.
What was the name of the tour group?
For the first group, it was Friendly Planet. Friendly Planet was the first group, and the second group is more photography centric. It was Wild Eye. Wild Eye. Anything else? Thank you, friends. Appreciate your time. Oh, one last thing. I do have a few things up here if you want to see some art from there. We got a table up here with some things to look